Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations, a podcast that teaches you how to create a clutter-free, functional, and simply happy life. I'm Narelle King, a professional organiser who supports families with practical steps to simplify their lives and create a more organised home. I'm passionate about supporting neurodivergent families and individuals like myself. Every fortnight, I also share a guest conversation with experts passionate about the future of our home, health, and the planet, which will provide you with actionable takeaways to create a more organised and happy life. Australians are the number one consumer of textiles in the world. Most Australians wear an item of clothing an average of only 7 times before discarding it. And 85% of clothing in Australia goes into landfill, which is a whopping 92 million tonnes. Imagine 2 Great Walls of China or 2,786 Sydney Opera Houses. That's how much 92 million tonnes looks like. So this is a huge issue that needs more awareness. So I've asked on the podcast Susan, a passionate advocate for sustainability, a professional organiser, and trained interior architect with over 18 years experience running her Sydney-based business, LessMess. Susan shares her knowledge on sustainable textile solutions and ways to recycle clothing and the problem with overconsumption and fast fashion. This conversation is a video recording that you can watch on YouTube. Let's jump into this Simply Happy guest conversation with Susan from LessMess. Today on Simply Happy Conversations, I'm talking with Susan from LessMess. I love that name as well. You're a professional organiser who has started her business in 2006, and she's also the founding member of the IOPO, which is the industry representation of professional organisers in Australasia. I have asked Susan to come on and talk to us about overconsumption and ways that we can be more sustainable with our textiles. So welcome, Susan.
Good morning. Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to be able to have your wisdom and share that with people, because I think there's a lot of statistics and things that people just are not aware of. But let's start. If you were a Barbie doll, what would be your 2 accessories that you would come with to share a little bit about the things you like to do outside of maybe professional organising?
It would be a little garden spade trowel, I think, trowel it's called. I don't even know what it's called in English. My garden, do more and more. So that would be one accessory and a crochet hook.
You're a crochet person too. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Lately, it's very fashionable.
And is there particular things you'd like to make?
And I'm doing granny squares at the moment because they're so portable. So you have one, you don't have that big thing on your leg. You can have it in your handbag. If there's downtime, you don't scroll your phone. You just take your little thing out and then it's finished in kind of 30 minutes. And that gives satisfaction rather than doing these big things you can't schlep around. So. And then I figure out what to do with the granny squares later.
Oh, that's a great idea. So talk about your movement from interior architecture to professional organising. I can see the link to them, but I'm sure there's other people going, what? That doesn't sound like a really a place to move from. So talk about your movement.
You actually can see that link too. So initially it was a real point of difference. I have it front and center on my website. I'm also German, which is also something people kind of have an idea how Germans should be. So it's actually a good selling point. It's not true that all Germans are organized, but it sells well. So I'm going with that. So I have a very good 3-dimensional space awareness, which is really great with decluttering. It's kind of, this will fit. No, this will not fit. And then if customers kind of challenge me and said, yeah, you know what? I studied this. It will not fit. So we have to declutter. So that's a good intro also. I do a fair bit of, we declutter our kitchen. And then years later, sometimes customers come, so you really knew your way around the kitchen, or we've done this together. You know what's inside. Could you sketch me a new kitchen? Could you sketch me the fit for a built-in wardrobe? Oh, just a refit of an existing hole, like just what would work better. So I do a lot around that. So I don't do the project, I let my customer find their trades. But you can go with a sketch of your new fit out in the laundry that will fit all the product and has a station where you can sort your dirty laundry, very important. And then you can go to whatever wardrobe company and say, I want a price for this. And you actually get 3-4 prices, if you can get them, that are comparable. because they quote on the same fit out. So it's not shop drawings. This is how it should be. A third, a door here, a bench top here, height of the bench top, overhead cupboards, these sort of things. I do this because I can.
Yeah. And do you do virtual for people?
Very rarely. I did that a little bit during COVID. I do a lot of I used to do during COVID over my workshops virtually. No, not really. I'm a face-to-face person, and it doesn't actually get asked that much anymore because I'm in the middle of Sydney. I think if I'd be rural, I would possibly do it more to save on the drive. There's a positive saving on driving in Sydney, but I decided to just charge for it and then, yeah.
And so what made you, did you just start out though, straight up professional organising after you finished your degree?
No. I worked quite old. So I worked in interior architecture, first in Germany and then in Australia, office fit out. Then I had child and then had another one. And then I tried to get back into architecture in 2001, just after the collapse of the Twin Towers in New York. We didn't get office fit out anymore. In the high rises in Sydney, it was kind of high rise, but better not spend any money on it. There was no work around that time. And then I thought I need to find something else. And then I had another child. So that kind of always puts it on hold. And when the youngest one was 3, he's now 21. I have a childcare place and I thought of doing something other than interior. I've always worked freelance. That's kind of the way the industry works. And your project is, you either work 60 hours or not at all. That just does not work with a young family. My husband was traveling, so I needed to find something that would fit and make use of my skills. And then we were also watching television in 2006, and it was kind of Better Homes and Gardens and this renovation show. And I thought, these shows, they need so much input on what you can do. Idealists. Because they're always very quick with their ideas. Like they built a hobby house in the time it takes me to find a car park and things. So that's the input. And I thought, I really love that. That background in architecture with my background as family manager. And I thought, well, I'll just ring them and tell them a little bit about me. And I thought, so if they asked what I'm good at, it thought up the sentence in my head. I'm really, really good in sticking a lot of people into a very small house.
That would be a good selling point.
Knowing wasn't really around. So I think I started Googling, found NAPO, the American Association, found an Australian association, and then realized, this is a thing. I'll be good at that. Yeah. And that's how I started. And it was exactly that. Like I found a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, childcare twice a week. So I could do one client a week and then had enough time to do, it was before social media, do kind of advertising and admin and stuff like that. So I was booked out with one job per week.
Yeah.
And that's how it grew. But then because it's been 18 years, it's been growing. And yeah, I'm not happy with one job a week anymore. But yeah, I do have more.
So let's move on to your clothing. So they say that we wear 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time. What's in your 20%?
Actually wear more than 20%, I think, because I do declutter my wardrobe half yearly. I flip my wardrobe. I think it's a hangover from growing up in Europe where you actually had to because winter stuff is so bloody. I love doing it. It gives me the chance to fold everything neatly. And I do like the first 2 weeks of having a neat wardrobe before it all goes downhill again, even with an organizer. And you go through things and try them on. They're not right. Go to the charity, go to one of the kids, the girlfriends of the kids or whatever. So I do declutter reasonably regular. I wear almost exclusively skirts and dresses in summer, even on jobs. The little jeans are not even in my summer wardrobe. They're packed away because it's just too hot. T-shirts, skirt, dresses in summer, winter, jeans, tire pants, and some kind of floral, kind of colorful. I always have colorful one, like it's a colorful skirt, a floral skirt, it's a plain T-shirt, or the other way around. I'm not monochrome, and I don't wear it.
Yeah. Do you wear the same clothes for your jobs as you do on the weekend, or is it pretty much that you've got now like your professional organising outfits and then your weekend wear?
Like when I wear the same. I don't do uniform. I just wear what I feel like. It's another joy. I know, like, yeah, this is a skirt. If it gets wrecked, I'm not crying. I wear closed shoes. Yes. Apart from that, yep, I just wear what I feel comfortable with.
Yeah. Because whereas I've got my 2 outfits now because I get so filthy. I don't know if you've seen it.
You do. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So talk about like why is there like an issue with us and our clothes? What's happening with our clothing? So like they say that 80% of the clothing in Australia goes into landfill. I know that you're a whiz on the statistics around textiles. So is that still the case at the moment?
Keeping on the statistics on this, and they hadn't done one. I'm going to look for my slide on that. Yeah, 35% textiles to landfill. That's the latest number. I actually think it is because we are willing, not everyone, there are enough people willing to do better. There is just no real great option. So everything that you could do better with your clothing has a but attached. So for example, there are charities, they collect to bring it to the Asia, Fiji or something. Do you really want the carbon footprint of the transport there? What does it do to their local rag trade? Do Fijian really need to wear our off-cast Nike t-shirts rather than their locally grown, locally manufactured, supporting local businesses, what they can do there? Africa is the same. So that's a but. It's possibly better than landfill in Australia, but don't think they're really going to resell it. A lot of the stuff doesn't get resold because it's in appalling condition, or the charities are overwhelmed. Generally overwhelmed. People declutter over Christmas, they get new stuff in, and then the charities are overwhelmed, and then they put it into landfill. So that's the but with the charity. There is recycling and reusing. So reusing. Customer base, if I tell them, you know what, this is really nice, let's just put a pile and you rip that into little strips and you make a rag carpet out of it. Yeah, fat chance. So that you can definitely do cushion covers out of your grandpa's old ties and brilliant things around the internet, what you can do with old jeans, but will you actually do this? You're just having another pile somewhere in your house, they will make a rag carpet one day. So that's the but with that one. When it comes to recycling, all our clothing is a composite material. So, I don't know whether we have time. I actually have a video. I compost clothing. As did I say, 100% cotton on the label, and then you compost it, and the thread was synthetic. The tag was synthetic. That's left over. So it's never 100%. So I can't do 100% cotton recycling, silk, hemp, whatever, because it's not 100%. So that's the but there. There's an ABC podcast called Threads. I think there were 6 episodes or something, and they did something around textile recycling. There are people in Australia. So we have to develop the technology to separate all these different bits in our composite clothing. There is someone coming from the brewing industry, which does a lot of physics with kind of turning it very quickly and then the solids go to the side kind of thing, physics and chemicals. And they are working on something to separate the different things that are in our clothing. Yes. They're developing this. This costs money because that's another myth. Like, a lot of people think, if I put it into recycling, someone will make money with it. That's only true for metals. It all costs money. Recycling paper costs more money than just putting it into landfill or burning it. So, and recycling, proper recycling, retrieving the wool in cotton or in clothing costs money. So we need money to all the engineers and the clever people in the country developing techniques to actually do this. So there is a proposal, and it hasn't come through from Tanya Plibersek when she came into office as the, I think, environmental minister, to charge levy clothing coming into the country. And it would be a percentage of, no, I'm not 100% sure. So it is, if H&M brings stuff in that pay money to a set of money that then gets spent on engineering, clever people developing things to do better with clothing, recycling rather than landfill, and then doing the stuff. We do the similar thing with tech. So all our tech has a levy on it, and that actually gets used because we don't export our e-waste anymore because China stopped taking it 7-8 years ago. So we have to develop our own, and that is funded by a levy. So I'm driving into Sydney, going to all the community recycling centers, picking up the tech, driving it to where it's cheaper to process rather than a factory in Sydney. This all takes money and you're not getting it much out. And we are thinking of doing something similar for textiles. So our textile will become more expensive, which kind of is feeding into another thing, which why we have so much textiles is fast fashion.
Oh, definitely. I was just about to say that's our problem. It is too cheap, isn't it? That's why think of our clothing 20 years ago. It's some things are similar prices, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of the linen we find in our customers' linen presses is poorly because how much do you really need? But it's so nice and I bought this there and then it's not even good quality because you can get a set of bed linen at at some of the big brands, the cheap shop, Aldi. It is just too cheap. If it's more expensive, you buy yourself one set every 2 years and you wait till the fitted sheet is. Grandmother flipped her sheets. If they were worn through at the bottom, you flissed them and they were mended, and don't do that anymore. So I think that actually has to come in. So I'm thinking the levy will do another thing because cheap clothing will go up. If this is just I'm plucking this out of the head of the back recess of my head. So if someone like Big W importing cheap clothing has to pay $1 per t-shirt more, they will put that on top. They'll charge $1.50 more, which for $7 t-shirt, suddenly $8.50 is a lot. Whereas expensive clothing, if they charge $1 for import for that levy, then it's not $80, it's $81. It doesn't show as much, so it might actually push us into buying more sustainable, buying good quality, doing our research. Not necessarily expensive is produced ethically. That's another topic we can talk about.
It's another whole thing, isn't it? Yeah, for sure. So people were like looking at, better ways to recycle their clothing and textiles. What are some of the things that they can do? Definitely one of them, I think, from when I've heard you talk and from that Threads, which I'll definitely put a link to, apparel has come around for us in Australia, haven't they? And they're doing a wonderful job is recycling our textiles.
Yes. This. I've looked into apparel. I have looked into H&M, for example. They collect clothing and then we get a voucher to buy more cheap clothing. So that's the but there. And there's another but. As far as I know, and I did try to dig deep on this, they use a company in Germany that does their textile recycling. That's a long way away from Australia. Do we want the carbon footprint of transport? And then I've tried to ring them, that company in Germany. They don't pick up the phone, as these companies don't. So do they recycle? Or do they just Germany exports all their rubbish to Africa? Do they just export it? What do they do with them? It needs a Craig Roycastle from ABC to do proper research on these things. He has done a whole series on clothing because it's complicated. It has so many different strands, and someone collecting is not necessarily someone recycling. A good example is the soft plastic disaster we had 3 years ago in Australia. Collecting went gangbusters. It really worked really, really well. And no one asked, is it a logistics company collecting or is it a recycling company? So that's the same. So you always ask questions and very often you get nowhere. And that's for me, I'm attaching that but. Zati does collect clothing. Sheridan does collect bed linen and towels. But do you really know what they do with it?
Yeah.
The answer, I think it's better than landfill. Apparel too. There is an outback op shop. You send it to them and they create an op shop in like land where there are no op shops, and no one drops their stuff out because you can't get in. So the noter locations in Australia are more happy for the donations. The big cities are just sometimes overwhelmed. And I've done that myself. I'm living in Sydney. I have a workshop in Newcastle. I stuck my car with what's in the wake, and then I drop it off in Newcastle, which is not rural, but it's kind of, it sometimes works better. We just have to make informed decision and then pick the lesser evil with textiles.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the thing, because there's a lot of people, which you'd see too, are holding on to their clothes because they don't know where it's going to and they want to do it the right way, but they're not sure. So I'm hoping that this is giving them some information that can actually make that decision. Where can we do it? So what other things can you do then with your textiles or your clothing if you're not going to use it, if you're not taking it to an op shop? What other things do you do?
Do compost.
Yep.
I'm doing best compost ever because it's an animal product. That is just good for my salad. Have composted leather and fur. Takes a while, but still works. You do get what I've said before, the bits that are not natural fibers or leather. I just pull them out of my compost. So it is a fair bit of work. And then I talked to some men in recycling. They go to the waste conferences and then talk to recyclers, and they're all very enthusiastic. And someone said, yeah, with the composting, I wouldn't, because do you know where it's been produced and what dyes and print ink they use? It might be poisonous. Is the remnants of synthetics, is that creating microfibers, like the very, very bits of plastic? These are your decisions, and that's kind of, I'm putting it out there. And absolutely say, engage your own brain and make your own decision. So I decided I will compost clothing, especially if it's old and worn and not much print left. I'm aware of a risk. I'm bearing that risk.
But you've got that risk even in our washing machine, isn't it? Like where the microplastics are going from your clothes into your washing machine, into our...
You can
waterways.
Yeah, you can buy filters. European washing machines sometimes might have them in because it will get you in the Terry at some stage. It will, because microplastics are an issue. Yes. Really thinks it's in the buying. You don't produce the rubbish when you let go of that T-shirt. You produce the rubbish when you buy it. Yeah, simply when you buy it because you don't need it. It's when you produce rubbish. So it's not can't let go of it because it will be landfill. It should be can't buy it because it will be landfill at some stage.
Yeah.
So it really is, don't let it into your house. And if you do try to buy op shop, don't expect op shops to take all your stuff when you never buy there. It's a circle. It's a going round and saying, if like, I never used to buy op shop before I started this business. Because I think I just had issues. I went through the issues I'm now buying because I'm also giving them stuff. It doesn't work. Yes. If we don't buy, so it has to be a cycle. Be alert to what new technology comes out there, inform yourself and just make informed decision for, the lesser even, but be aware of the buts that are kind of everywhere with textiles.
It's that really reducing our consumerism, isn't it? And thinking about where's it going to go? Or, is it possible that I could get this secondhand somewhere, whether it's a consignment type store or Facebook Marketplace, Depop, all of those websites that you can now sell or buy.
Yep.
Renting, isn't there?
Renting. What will it rent?
Oh, yes, if
you have some similar size, same shoe size, you're done. Even if they're different style, you get bits and pieces and then you just style them different and it is your style. And then you give it back and you didn't have to buy it. That's definitely an option that family do internally. If you I had 2 kids the same size through primary school, very handy. And a lot of people do, like mums do it with their daughters. I do a little bit of sweat, like I have boys. So, but you can still, and then if they don't like it anymore, if it fits me, I wear it in the garden, these kind of things. Yes, but be really aware how you shop. That's where the rubbish is.
Yeah, yeah. And one other thing I wanted to ask you about was bamboo, because I think that was something that I was like, I think we're now in shops, and I've noticed it since I listened to you talk about it, is that is their main feature of advertising, is this is bamboo. So what is wrong with some of the bamboo that we're getting?
Of the bamboo, I've learned since how we produce synthetics. So synthetic fibers are made in a factory. And synthetic fibers are made by humans through chemical synthesis. They have to be made out of something. The compound that are used to make these fibers come from raw materials such as petroleum, but also the carbon in bamboo. Or the carbon, I think viscose is the fabric.
Oh, yeah, that's the
It's
one.
made out of, they always sell it to you. Oh, no, it's natural. It's made of the leftover from the bamboo industry. Yes. Bamboo from the cotton industry. Cotton has issues too. But the leftovers, they take the carbon and do chemical synthesis with it to make synthetic fibers. So you can make a plastic out of oil. You can make a plastic out of bamboo. You can make plastic out of the leftovers of the cotton industry. Again, maybe better than oil. That's a finite resource we have. It is not a natural fiber. So plastics don't break down at all. They break down into the microfibers, which then get into our waterways and enter our food chain. So that's the issue with synthetics, and bamboo can be a synthetic.
So what would they have on their label that would tell us it is just a natural bamboo product that they're using? Like, do they have to have on their products like 100% bamboo, or like how would we know? Or it says organic bamboo. Is that how we would know that that's the sort of bamboo that we should be buying rather than a synthetic?
We don't know.
Oh, yeah.
If bamboo was synthetic, no, it's not. And I think you had to ask questions. It's hard to ask questions. Like the shop assistant wouldn't know. That's news to them. You can use proper bamboo to make clothing, but the really soft one we buy, like bamboo socks, and it is a synthetic.
Yeah. That's what it is like raising that awareness, because I know myself, I've gone into a shop that they have bamboo socks. I'll get those. They're natural, but they're not.
Yeah. Yes. Synthetics. Like,
yeah.
There's all wrong with from the environmental perspective. The huge amount of animals, then the monocultures, and now we start running with cotton. So why not synthetic if you want it? That's why textile is such a mind-boggling big field, because everything has a but. Even the natural fibers have a but.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And so that's why looking at little things that we can do to change. So for one of my things last year, the year before, the last 2 years, was that I was not going to buy new jeans. There's enough jeans in our op shops, and jeans take up a lot of water, use up a lot of water. I'm sure you probably know the statistic. I have no idea, but I know there's a lot of water used. So I was like, why not buy my jeans secondhand, whether it's op shop or in off Facebook Marketplace? And I've been able to do that so easily since the last 2 years. So it's like thinking about those things. How can you make a difference? And it might be just one small change.
Yes. Yeah. And being aware of the challenges.
Yeah, because it's huge. So what's one thing you wish that listeners could do moving forward around sustainability and even just looking at their wardrobe and organizing their wardrobe and consumerism?
Do you organize your wardrobe and have it so, and you would be the same. We walk into, I'd start with wardrobes and bedrooms a lot. It's kind of a good first session. And can people fit in their wardrobe and say, I love my clothes, I'm a bit of fashionista, and it is squeezed in, you can't see anything, half hanging out. You can't slide something to the side to see your garment. There's no airflow. You can't get something out and then you can't get it back in because it's so packed. And I would say, well, love your wardrobe. If you say you love your clothes, this is not a wardrobe of someone that loves clothes. You're not looking after them. They're all cream-filled. They might marry it because there's no airflow. Look after your clothing if you think you love it. Don't tell me you love your wardrobe if it is like this. So declutter, put the things back you are wearing. Obviously, I'm a fan of what we started with flipping your wardrobe, put the winter stuff away. I don't need to see, I have lots of boots. I have a bit of a shoe thing. I'll put them away because they don't warm jumpers in the middle of summer. That makes you cringe. So just put them away. There's always upstairs. There's always other storage places. And that'll lighten the load on your wardrobe. You will be able to see your things. And then you should really, with the hanging one, be able to push it to the side and see the whole garment and sort it in a way that suits you. Same for the drawers, the shelves. Organized wardrobe is not necessarily a very neat, folded Marie Kondo kind of doing little parcel things. It really is, it has to be user-friendly for the one using it, and not just finding a garment, but also putting it away. So, for example, when I work with teenagers, especially honestly, I'm sexist here. I do know boys who have too much clothing, but yeah. Yes, declutter first, obviously. Does it fit? Is it still your style, or it's still from year 6 and you would not be seen wearing this? Let's just go op shop or rubbish, depending on the condition. And then I do talk to them. Okay, so would you like them all folded? Oh, that sounds nice. Would you fold them? No, I never do that. You know what we end up, and it is still an organized wardrobe. There's a shelf for T-shirts with sleeves, T-shirts sleeveless, long sleeve. 3 shelves. Then we throw the T-shirts on. That's organized. It's with logic. And you might be able to find something. There's no point in having your standard so high of, I'm going to fold, and then they don't do it. Or someone needs to do it for a 16-year-old. Now that's, you know what? It's your wardrobe. You look after it, but you find a system that works for you. So you can roll T-shirts, but that's not for everyone. You can roll towels. You have to find a system that works for you. Lemon press. You want pillows, bottom sheets, single bed, queen, whatever, all these different sizes. Do you put a set inside a pillowcase? Is this how you work? Do you want them in basket? Do you forget that you have them? Like there's all these pictures of lovely linen presses, and it's a wicker basket, which is wrong with linen anyway because it catches, and a swing tag and whatever. And then you forget that you have that set because it's in a brown. That's not the right solution for you. It might be for someone else. So really listen to your own inner self and lower your standard. Because if your standard is, it all has to be nicely folded, and you can't be asked, it ends up on the floor and the bed, your standard is too high. It's better done than not done perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great way to finish, Susan. Thank you so much. I love that finishing last tip. How can people connect with you and find you?
Go to the website. I'm old school. Google LessMess. It Googles very well because I've been around the block. LessMess in one word. I'm in Sydney. I'm a professional organizer in Sydney. And I also do workshops, mostly through councils or mental health organizations. And that's also on the website. So connect through the website.
Oh, thank you so much, Susan. And I can see you have such a passion and also an extensive knowledge around this area. Thank you so much for your time and also for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's Simply Happy conversation. If you find yourself wasting precious time searching for misplaced items and wishing for a more organized life, then you need my 5-minute declutter ebook, the ultimate guide to quick and easy organizing solutions for a clutter-free and happy home. Forget about spending months KonMariing your house. These fun solutions are designed to give you immediate results in under 5 minutes. Head over to Simply Happy in the resource section and download your free copy and start seeing results in minutes. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging.